Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I think you all should be tired because the time is late now. And I'm Dr. Lin. It's glad to see you all for the long travel to Taiwan and join us with this workshop. I'm an emergency physician and practicing in emergency ultrasound for several years. And in this section, I will share some experience of the abnormal aortic aneurysm to show how to scan to know how to scan this problem. So, did anyone know this? Actually, I don't know before I prepared this. This one is the Sir William Foster. He's one of the creation of the Johns Hopkins School. So he said one sentence before that there is no disease more conducive to clinical immunity than aneurysm of the aorta. What's that mean? Because the abdominal aorta aneurysm is very hard to diagnose, but the mortality is super high. To the rupture, if the aneurysm is ruptured, the mortality is super high, maybe up to 90%. So it is important for us to diagnose the abdominal aorta aneurysm for patient. If you don't have the correct diagnosis of this, maybe it's just like a time bomb, an embedding time bomb in your patient's abdomen. So to diagnose this abdominal aortic aneurysm is important, and the ultrasound is crucial. It's really an important and very convenient tool for us to do this. So let's start some simple question, and there will be some questions in my section today and tomorrow. If you know the answer, these questions are really simple, trust me. If you know the answer, just raise your hand and answer it, and I'll have some small gifts for you, and thanks for you coming to our EAS. Okay, so this is the first one. You can see this is spine, and this is the aorta. Okay, so what do you see in this image? A, normal aorta. B, aortic aneurysm. C, aortic dissection. Anyone want to try? Okay. A. Okay. Yes. It's quite simple, right? So you can. Okay. You just walk here. Yeah, really. Simple, small gift. Okay. Thanks for coming to Taiwan. Yes. Actually, I know most of you kids is Taiwanese, so thank you for coming to this place. Okay, so to know how to scan the abdominal aortic aneurysm, we must start from the anatomy. So this is the simple anatomy. Aorta originates from the heart and walks through from the back and go through to the abdomen from the posterior diaphragm. So you can see from this one and go through until the division of common aortic artery. That's all. That's quite so easy, right? Okay. So there are several branches of the abdominal aorta. The major branches must be the celiac artery and superior mesenteric artery, and renal arteries, and the bifurcation. So assessing these assessing these branches is not quite important if we just want to see the patient have abdominal aortic aneurysm or not. So, but these branches can give us quite important landmarks to define you are seeing which level, or you are seeing aorta or inferior vena cava. So the first we want to see the aorta is quite simple. Just place the probe in the center of the abdomen, just below the costal margin, and you will see the tuber structure. Okay, remember to place the transducer point the transducer marker point to the patient's right. So this is the proximal level of the aorta. You may see the aorta main branches such as the celiac artery, the hepatic artery, and the splenic artery. Someone say that like a sequel. Okay, so if you move more inferiorly, is the aorta and superior mesenteric artery, and the superior the splenic vein, which is the landmark if you want to find the pancreas. Pancreas just above the splenic vein, and there's right renal vein and the left renal artery. This is quite a little branch. And as move your transducer inferiorly, you will see there are just maybe two tubular structure in this level. The spine posterior and the anterior aorta and the right side of the inferior vena cava. To this level and move more inferiorly, you will see the aorta division to the left and right common iliac artery. Why this level is important? The divocation is located about just above the umbilicus level. However, most of the abdominal aortic aneurysm is located on the low part of the aorta, just maybe below the renal arteries. So it is important to scan the whole abdomen, especially till the bifurcation. So we have to scan to this level, spine and the right iliac artery and the left iliac artery. Okay, that's the transverse view. And after transverse view, we have to check this aorta in longitudinal view. It's quite important to see this kind of structure in short axis or transverse view and long axis to two view. It's quite important to assess the size of the aorta. And to perform the longitudinal view, you just place the probe in the center of the abdomen as before and rotate it clockwise 90 degrees to make the transducer marker point to the patient's head. That's all. The aorta, if you see in the proximal level, you'll see the celiac trunk and superior mesenteric artery. As you can see, these two branches are quite close. It's very close. And if you move the transducer from left to right, you will see another great vessel, the inferior vena cava. Someone may confuse that he can't differentiate the inferior vena cava and aorta in longitudinal view. Some methods were taught, including the wall thickness or the pulsation. I think the best way is just see the branches of the great vessel. Because the inferior vena cava, if you move superiorly, you will see it enter the right atrium of the heart. And the aorta, as the previous image, you can see the cephalic artery and the superior mesenteric artery. It's quite different for these two. Okay, and if you can see clearly by the transabdominal approach, most often by the ultrasound was obscured by bowel gas or abdominal scar. You can approach the abdominal aorta in different way from lateral side. If you send the abdominal aorta from left decubitus, actually just like this one, from right flank, you can see there are two anechoic tubular structures in your image just below, under the liver. The near one is the inferior vena cava, and the deeper one is the aorta. Let's you see the aorta from the right side, and if you see from the left side, let's outside. Yes. So the next question is, how do you see in this image? It's quite different. with the previous, right? So A, the normal aorta, B, the aortic aneurysm, C, the aortic dissection. It's quite easy, right? The same options. Okay, anyone? You? B, okay. Aortic aneurysm, that's right. You can have the more gifts tomorrow. Don't be shy. Okay, so abdominal aortic aneurysm is quite critical condition, and it's why we must have to figure out and to scan it, because the triad is not reliable. Some say the ruptured abdominal aorta, the triad of the abdominal pain, the pulsatile pulse, and the hypertension. These signs are not reliable. So to scan the abdominal aorta to find the aneurysm is quite important. But how do we define the aneurysmal dilation? Because the aorta may be complicated by thrombosis or dissection or rupture, anything. So we must measure the aorta by its outer diameter. So if you find the outer diameter of this aorta is greater than 3 centimeters, its aneurysm is defined. So if you measure the aorta, remember this physical effect, the cylinder tension effect. What does that mean? If you measure a diameter of a cylinder, you must cut through the center of it. If you cut to the not in the center, you may underestimate the diameter of this one, just like the arrow. So don't be this, do this. But actually, it's important that if you do the measurement of the aorta, one is to see the aorta in axial view and longitudinal, axial view and long axis view. You can measure it in these two ways, or the better way is to measure the aorta in short axis view, but make sure that your probe, your transducer, is perpendicular to the aorta. Okay, and let's see some case. Here is a 75-year-old male, and he had no symptoms, and just transferred to our emergency room due to incidental finding of abdominal aorta aneurysm. His vital signs are remarkable. So as you can see, there is a big abdominal aortic aneurysm in his abdomen, and there's some thrombosis of the aortic wall, like this, and turbulent flow in the aorta. He had no symptoms, right? But maybe he will die tomorrow due to the ruptured aortic aneurysm. So screening the aortic aneurysm is quite important, because this kind of patient, they may don't have any symptoms until they are dead. So the next one is a 70-year-old male presenting with left flank pain, and he stated that he had left ureterolithiasis, and the symptom is same as before. Yes, I found someone that day. That's quite similar, right? Someone said that I have stone pain. Just give me a painkiller. What's this? Aortic aneurysm. Okay. But in this patient, you can see the aortic aneurysm, but the CT scan showed actually the aneurysm is not ruptured. So this time, his symptoms really came from his ureteral stone, right? Because the CT scan showed the left hydronephrosis, and yes, so his pain is really came from the left ureteral stone. But how can you know next time? So be noticed that I scan every old patient, maybe 50 or older than 50 years old, every patient for the aorta. If he had the flank pain or abdominal pain, just like this. Okay, that's the final one. This patient is not lucky as before. This is a 59-year-old male and presenting with hematuria. After several hours observation in emergency room, the follow-up ultrasound showed this kind of finding. You may see a really big abdominal aortic aneurysm. However, there's much abnormal finding in his retroperitoneal side. You can see there's the pelvic ring and the iliac muscle will be shown here. Iliac muscle. Okay, what's this? There's a lot of hematoma in this retroperitoneal region. The aorta is ruptured before maybe several hours ago or yesterday. But maybe he's a little lucky for he's not dead at that time. But you can see the aorta, the rupture site behind the aorta. So actually he need emergent operation repair for his aorta, and he might be dead anytime according to next rupture. So it's quite important to scan the abdominal aortic aneurysm for the older patients. And we must know that we have to measure the aorta and to scan this by longitudinal and transverse view. From the just below the diaphragm to the bifurcation. And abdominal aortic aneurysm is the outer diameter greater than 3 centimeters. Thank you.